อย่างดีแท้ก็จะจับหัว
Good morning, Chuck and Paige here with no time to be sad here in Thop Phnom, Thailand. Today's gonna be an awesome day. I'm gonna mop the floor, gonna exercise, gonna stay in the house. I was told by the head of the house, who's in charge of our little area here, that I could stay in our little group area of the town, which means I could walk down to the river and go enjoy the river if I wanted to. Well, I went the other day, I brought you guys along for a little clip, and somebody complained that there was a phalang by the river. And why wasn't I quarantined? But anyway, it got all straightened out. But they just automatically assume that I've come from Bangkok, which is an area in Thailand, which is, if you've come from there, you definitely got to stay indoors for 2 weeks. But that wasn't really the case for me. I didn't come from Bangkok, and I didn't come from any area that was infected. And we were really around less people than probably he was. So, but anyway, I don't want to cause any problems, so I'm just gonna stay. I'm gonna stay put. I personally feel like until this is over, I'm gonna be kind of looked at like, okay, where did this phalang come from? It's okay here in my town because most people know me, and if somebody says something, they'll say, "Oh, that phalang's been here a long time." But I don't know. It's gonna be weird, I think, for the next few days. I don't think it's going to be a problem against foreigners coming to Thailand. I've had some people comment about, are they happy that we're gone? No, they're not. They don't really think too much like that, thankfully. But right now, there's a concern for all people coming from Bangkok, not just phalang. So it's easy to assume that I came from Bangkok because I'm a foreigner and I most likely had to fly here, right? So I'm gonna make bread today. I know that sounds exciting. I know you guys are just full of enjoyment right now, you know. But I think it's important to know how to make bread. Especially as a man, you can impress your woman, you know. But it's like making a fire. If you know how to make a fire, it's a good tool in the toolbox. But if you can learn how to make bread, that's even better, because really bread is, depending on what kind, there's all kinds of breads to make, but bread is pretty basic. And it's actually easy to make, but it takes a lot of practice. So I want to teach you guys today how to do it, since you got a lot of time on your hands. Oh, today is, what is today? Here, I'll have to, I've been sequestered, did I say that right? To give you guys the exact date and time. So today is 6:40 right now in the morning. And what's today? Is today Monday? I can't see my watch, it's tiny. Monday, the 30th? I think it's the 30th. Monday the 30th, how's that? So the mafias want to eat hamburgers tonight for dinner. So I'm gonna make hamburger buns, but I'm gonna make a loaf of bread with the same bread. And it's gonna be like a sweet butter bread. Anyway, it takes a lot of practice to make the bread. The first time, maybe the first 15, 20 times, my bread was not good. It was hard, but luckily I had a Venezuelan neighbor who loved to eat anything I made, so nothing went to waste. I just carried it over to him. My father-in-law's watering the plants right now. Gessner would eat all of my bread when I was learning how to make bread, remember? So, and we kind of been having a few friends over for lunchtime is what they want to do. So no more than 5, right? You're allowed to have 5 guests in your house, huh? Including yourself, yeah, that's right. 5 people altogether. My quarantine's almost over. Yeah, I've got a lot of people telling. I'm over here complaining about my little tiny little, not really too much of a quarantine, and they're like locked in their house, and people are like handing them food at the door and knocking. It's bad, but it's still not too bad in Thailand. A lot of the cases that we have in Thailand come from overseas. I think the majority of them probably came from South Korea, right? Well, a lot of them came from South Korea and then infected people when they got here. But there's not too many cases, and I'd have to double check this morning, but I think we're up to like 7 deaths. So. Yeah, they're all, so far, have been unhealthy people. There's a funeral going on right now. That was the funeral music. Depressing music, right? But the lady down the street died the other day. Not from a virus, but she slipped in her own home and fell and hit her head and died. You never know what's going to happen. But, Thai people think they have a different feeling when it comes to death. Not all death, this depends on the circumstance, Your child, getting whatever, that's never a good moment. But they have a different feeling when it comes to death compared to the West. So I guess you can call it sabai, whatever you want to call it, but it I don't know. It's not the fear like we have in the West. But anyway, I hope everybody is hanging in there. I hope you guys are happy today, finding some fun stuff to do, to clean. Hopefully you guys can learn how to make some bread today. And I want to see some posts. I want you guys to share your bread experience with me. This has been a request by quite a few people to teach you guys how to make pizza, but I think the bread is more important, so we'll make some bread. Well, my favorite soup still, get to eat it, just have to eat it at home. It's all good, right?
It's all good. We're gonna be a bakery store soon.
Yeah. I gotta get some more flour today, bread flour. I have a little bit left.
They say something. The nurse and the doctor, they can't buy the outfit, the protecting. They got to wear a raincoat.
A raincoat?
Yeah, like a pouch, and then tie them up around the
in Thailand, I don't know, the news is the same here. Everybody is so scared and freaked out about everything. These nurses are going to work and helping people. And maybe there's one person in the hospital that has corona, but the whole village doesn't want them to come back home to their homes. They're scared to death. So it's like they can't, it's like, oh, we're going home. This is my home. I live here, but they're all freaking out. Mexico, too, there's not too many in Mexico. You never hear anybody in Mexico really on the news. Well, we wouldn't hear about it here anyway, but I think it has to do with chili. Maybe the heat and the chili. A lot of people say Thailand's going to be bad because they can't stay away from family. They can't be isolated. Thai people like to be around family, but whatever you think, it's really not happening too much here in Thailand. So whatever it equates to, I don't know. But since we're all guessing on the internet how everything works, I say chili pepper. A lot of chili pepper and a lot of sun. And a lot of not stressing out. Take that, Corona. And then, whatever's in you is going to get flushed out, right?
Yep. It will come out in
I'm like
a couple minutes.
like a steam pot. It starts to whistle, right?
Yep.
Uh-oh. It's okay, I got plenty of time. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 bathrooms in the house. I made the one out in the garage spotless yesterday.
Really? See, I tell you to clean downstairs too. Got all the cobwebs.
I'll get up. Paige hates spiders, so I got to kill all the cobwebs. I got to start the dough here pretty soon.
It's hard to shoot flies.
Yeah, very good. I'm addicted to chili pepper. I can't eat food without it now. I do wish all these damn flies would die. Yeah.
It's a dinosaur animal.
Small burger. You guys want mini burgers or just regular burgers, right? Just small patty. What? Just one. Unless you want it on the burger. We're discussing extra ingredients. I was just going to chop it up and put it in the hamburger meat. Just get a couple. My mouth is on fire. Okay, let's make some dough. My mother-in-law's in the kitchen with me making soup. Some spicy, well, that's gonna be very pet. My favorite. Okay, here's my ingredients. I'm gonna put all the ingredients at the end of the video. I'll put it in the description box below. My mother is cooking and it smells wonderful. I'm going to do a future video of some dishes. It's very difficult to get in their way, but I'm going to try to do it in the next couple of days. But anyway, first thing about bread, it's all about, it took me a long time to make bread because it's not just about the exact measurement, it's about the consistency of the bread. So I want you to concentrate on how the dough is supposed to look at the end, and you can add ingredients to make it have this texture. But the most important thing, other than the yeast, is the consistency of your dough. So you can use whatever kind of flour you want. Today, I'm limited to flour in our area, so I'm just using bread flour. You can use regular flour too, but bread flour is a lot softer. So we're using bread flour, or you can use whole wheat, stuff like that. Flies. First thing we got to do is we have to make sure our yeast is good. Now I keep this yeast in the refrigerator. I'm going to activate it. What I've got here is some milk and a little bit of hot water. So I've got a cup really of milk. And I'm going to get a tablespoon of, actually, in order to activate the yeast, we've got to feed it. So I want to make sure, the reason I'm doing this is because I want to make sure my yeast is alive and well. So I'm going to put a little bit of sugar, because yeast like sugar. And I'm going to take a teaspoon of yeast and I'm going to put it in here. And then I'm going to show you what's going to happen here in just a moment. Now the temperature just needs to be hot to touch, not burn your finger, but just hot to help activate the yeast. So we'll let that sit there for just maybe a minute, and I'll show you what's going to happen to that here. So what I want to do is I want to add all of my liquid ingredients first and get it well incorporated. I'm not a chef, so the terminology is going to be blue collar today. So I don't know what else to tell you, but if you store your eggs in a refrigerator, which most people do in the West, just take some hot water and put your egg in the hot water for a little bit so it becomes at room temperature. Your dough needs to be room temperature so that it can rise quicker. I'm going to show you a trick to making it rise quicker in a minute. So we're just going to get all of our wet ingredients here in the pan. I have got, now you can use oil. This is going to be a butter bread, so I'm going to use butter. If you're making pizza dough or you're making garlic bread, a lot of times I just use oil like a olive oil. But you got to have some oil or butter in the ingredient. So I'm going to use a half a cup of good quality butter, 1 egg. My yeast is still doing its thing. Now I'm going to make enough here to make a loaf of bread and maybe about 6 or 7 hamburger buns. That's my goal. I want my bread usually to be a little sweet. You don't add any sugar to like pizza dough or garlic bread, obviously, right? So, but on sandwich bread and hamburger buns, I like it to be a little sweet. So I'll put like let's just put, today, I'm gonna put 1/3 of a cup of sugar. Thai love sweet stuff. So you can put a little bit, you can put a little bit, you can put more, whatever you want. But this really is just a matter of practice, technique, and a lot of patience. If you don't have a lot of time on your hands, you can't make bread. So you can't rush it. You have to be really, really patient. Can't be too patient either, because if you let it rise too much, it won't work either. So, okay. That's done. Now, my yeast has risen. You can see it's nice and fluffy. On the top, it's come alive. It's alive. And I know my yeast is good, and it smells like yeast. So that is a lot of liquid in here. So that means I'm going to need quite a bit of flour to make the consistency right. We'll measure and see how much flour I've used at the end. Typically it's like 3.5 cups. I'm going to use cups. You can ask Google what that measures into in grams or milliliters, whatever you like. Google knows. Okay, let me get a 1/2 cup scoop. Okay, this is a 1/2 scoop, so I can get it in here. And You know, like I'm saying, don't really worry too much about being exact. When you're exact, a lot of times it doesn't work out. So you can always add a little bit more liquid or more flour as you go. So I'm gonna start off with, let's just say, 2 cups of flour. And then I'm going to mix that. I'm going to incorporate this. There is a crap load of recipes and techniques on YouTube if you've got time to watch other people's techniques and other types of bread, like French bread's really easy to make. The only hard thing about French bread is getting it to be in the right, they make these things to get it in the right shape loaf. I don't know, but French bread's easy to make with very little ingredients. But this is little ingredients too, and it's better than fighting with somebody right now in the supermarket over a loaf of bread. You can make your own bread easy. Get away from me. Okay, so this is 2 cups of flour. So if I had to guess, we're gonna probably be dealing with about 4 cups of flour, maybe 4.5, I'm guessing. So I don't have a fancy mixer. I used to have a really nice one back in the States, but because it was 110 volt, I couldn't bring it to Thailand. So I have this. They do sell them here. They're a little pricey, but you know what? This works just fine. And I don't make bread like every single day. So this is good for me. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is get this into the perfect texture dough ball for my bread. And I'll kind of try to show you how that is supposed to be. We've already got our ingredients. It's all we need. The magic yeast. I like to use butter, milk, and an egg because it just makes it soft. And the sugar makes it taste not so much like dessert, but I don't know, it's good for hamburger buns. If you can, also if you put a little bit of, like grill it with a little bit of butter. I just put a little bit of flour at a time so I don't make a big mess. And then just kind of work the flour into the dough. It's very important to mix this because inside bread has gluten. So by doing this, you get all the gluten out of the flour and the yeast, and it's what makes the magic. It's what makes the fire. When you're making a fire, you know, you've got to have the right ingredients. You got to have the perfect piece of wood. Everything's got to be dry. It takes a lot of effort and patience. And then you have a fire. Same thing with the bread. I forgot something. It's okay. I wanted to put this in with my wet ingredients, but I forgot. But it's okay. Look, I'm almost done mixing it. It's still a little soft. That's too soft. I did wash my hands, by the way. Right now, I'm at a little over 3 cups of flour. But I forgot. Let me get this off my finger. I wanted to put honey in the dough. I forgot, but it's okay. We can add it right now still. I forgot the honey. And we're just going to give it, you know, maybe a cup of honey. Because honey is, I don't know, honey's awesome. It's a little less flour than I thought it was going to be, but I only ended up using about 3.5 cups of flour. So it's got to be sticky, not to where it'll like stick on your hand, but it needs to be like really kind of soft and sticky. So Now I'm going to I've got to get this thing into a bowl, into a ball. I want to try to get the dough off of the sides as best as I can. Here's what we got. So this thing is super duper soft, and it's really sticky, but it's not coming off in my hand. So that's what we want right there for soft bread. So what I gotta do now is I gotta let this baby, I gotta let it rise. So the secret to letting it rise is to make sure it doesn't dry out. So what we're gonna do, get it back out of the pan. It's best if you have somebody sit next to you with an extra hand that can do this part. So just put a little down in the bottom of that. And then I want to coat the beautiful dough ball with oil, nice and soft. Okay, baby, do your thing. So now we need to cover it. Let me wash my hands. Okay, next thing we're gonna do, my friend Lori, hi Lori, in Houston, showed me a technique of putting a hair net for women to keep from getting their hair wet in the shower. A shower cap, yeah, to put over the bowl. I was like, wow, that's cool, but this bowl's too big and the shower caps won't work. So most people have a bag in their house normally. So take a grocery bag and just cover it up. So we want this to be in a warm place. Nice and warm, nice and comfortable, and tucked away. So if you guys are in an area where it's freezing cold, that might be hard to do. But in order to do this, you need to have an oven anyway. So we're gonna stick it in the oven. I could just put it anywhere in the house and it'd be nice and toasty because I'm already wet, sweating. So I'm just gonna put this here in the oven, and I'm gonna let this thing sit here probably, let's see, lunch is 10 o'clock now. Maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours. Maybe I'll eat lunch, maybe I don't know. That's just what I'm talking about. You gotta be patient. But you do not want the rise to get too long, because then it starts to like bubble and become like a big gobby mess. So you don't want it to go more than 3 hours, probably more than 4 hours, I think at the most. But really, usually about an hour, hour and a half, it's big. So anyway, we'll come back. Okay, do your thing. Also, if for some reason you're in a freezing area, inside your oven might be freezing too, just put it on preheat for just a second to heat it up. Or you could take a cup of, I'm gonna show you this technique in a little bit after we make the actual bread balls. You could, Paige, you could take a boiling cup of water and put it in there too, and it'll, yeah. I'm taking selfies. Okay, well, I'll be back. It is so damn hot today, Lauren, that my bread has risen in like less than an hour. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it out. I was thinking maybe I'd have time to eat lunch and then do it, but it's only 11. I ended up putting a cup of hot water in there to keep it moist in the oven, but man, check it out, it is full. So I want to make 6 hamburger buns, and I'm going to use the rest for a loaf of bread. Six different pieces. We'll set this over here. See, that's a good size there. 1, 2. So, in order to make our buns, we need to make a perfectly little round ball. Okay, got 6 beautiful little bread balls, and now I'm gonna make my loaf. Now I've got this pan. I took a napkin with olive oil on it, and I wiped it all around, and I just spread flour all so it doesn't stick. That might be too big, but I think it's gonna be too big. Oh well. Maybe we can make 2. I know it doesn't look pretty right now, but give it about another hour. So I'm going to stick these back in the oven. I'm going to put one there and one there. And a lot of times if you watch other people's techniques, they want to put some kind of, cover that up with plastic or a damp cloth, but I don't do that. I just put it in the oven. I get a glass of a coffee cup, ceramic cup, with hot water, very hot water. And I just put it back in the oven, stays nice and moist. And then I let the magic happen, hopefully. Lunchtime. Did you get a good workout? I got to do 15K today.
10.
Somehow. Very good.
หิวเลยอ่ะ
Okay. Good. Risen already in 30 minutes time. Look at that.
พอได้กินตัวละอัน
My hamburger buns didn't turn out as pretty as I wanted them to, but it's okay. Homemade bread is supposed to kind of look distorted. Anyway, at least that's what an Englishman told me one time. I'm going to get it out of the oven. I'm going to wash it with egg white, and then I'm going to put some sesame seeds on it. The egg wash will make it shiny. So I know this video is like crazy long, so I don't want to bore you with all that stuff. I'm going to do that, and then we'll have a nice hamburger dinner here this evening, and I'll cut you in on the end of this video on a little bit of that excitement. Okay. Okay, does that look amazing or what? I ended up sticking it all in there at the same time. It's a little brown on, don't worry about that. A nice little crispy crust is good. But here's another secret to having really soft bread. I know it's hard to do because it smells like crazy awesome. My mouth is watering. Don't cut into it. Let it cool off, and it will be really, really moist inside by the time it cools. So leave it alone, step away from the kitchen, and let it cool down, and we'll cut it in a little bit. But yeah, my bread those are my hamburger buns. They're gonna be super awesome. They kind of looked a little deformed at first, but it all worked out. Okay, my brand new bread knife. Let's cut into this baby. There it is. Well, let's let the bread expert taste the bread. Hi, babe. You feel like tasting some bread? Good? Okay, very good. All right. See you in a minute for dinner.
เอาไปใช้อะไรย่างมา
Yeah, we got to do selfies. My hamburger
แฮมเบอร์เกอร์
and French fries. อร่อยไหม She's only eating the bread. ขนมปัง
โอ้ยไปกินขนมปังก่อนเลย
เอ้ายังไม่มีกิน
ได้
ข้าว
หาซอสเยอะ
กินข้าวกล้องกินนั่นนี่ก็
Anyway, guys, I just got finished with my live stream. I've been talking for 100 minutes. I don't want to be coughing. People might think I'm sick. So thank you very much for watching the video. Please, if you like it, if you like the effort, give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. We're gonna make this a good year one way or the other, damn it. It's gonna happen. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for the awesome comments. I hope you guys are staying entertained. I hope you guys are staying clean by washing your hands, keeping your hands off of your face. I've got this in my pocket. It's very hard for me to remember to keep my hands off of my face, but stay positive. Things are gonna be okay. I know it. Just be positive and it's all gonna work out eventually. I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.